Hey everyone, it's Omar Almodovar here with Elite Recruits. Today we have a very special video. I'm going to be sitting down with one of my former players to talk about his recruiting journey, experience in the program, just finalized his JUCO season, and now he's going to the D1 level. So yeah, go ahead, tell everyone your name, position, where you're from, and what school you were at when we first connected.
I got you. Yeah, what's up? I'm Evan McCarthy. I'm a outfielder, corner infield from Itawamba Community College, and I'm Southern Indiana commit now because of my boy Omar right here. So
Yes. Not because of me, man, because of you hit 337 this year with 12 home runs and 41 RBIs. I helped you, but that was all you. So don't
yes,
give me the credit on that. You had a heck of a season, dude. So I'm excited to continue following your journey at the next level. And man, it's gonna be fun seeing you hit some home runs next year. All right, let's
yeah.
take it back a little bit. So before we started working together, what was going on in your recruiting process at that point, and what do you feel like you were struggling with the most?
I feel like the main thing for me was just being overlooked for sure. Is I'm JUCO guys, you're kind of the low end of the transfer portal now. So it's not only the thing of being overlooked, it's the fact that like you have all this pressure built on you, and it's just the fact that I'm being overlooked completely by these mid-major D1s, these high-level D1 guys that need to play just as bad as I want to play. And I feel like that's the biggest thing for me. I was super confused during the process too. I didn't know where to go. Like I didn't know where to even start because obviously I went JUCO out of high school. That was pretty easy. My JUCO's in my backyard. I didn't really have to get recruited. They recruited me from 3 high school games. I mean, I didn't have to do much to get recruited out of here. But now doing my goal was trying to go D1 out of JUCO, and Mississippi State and Ole Miss are the closest next to me. They're not going for JUCO guys like me unless you're throwing 99. I'm an outfielder, so I had to branch out my recruiting to try to find like a school that would want me. I just didn't know where to start, and I was so confused during the process. I was overwhelmed, didn't know what to do, to be honest.
For sure. And I remember, and I appreciate you sharing that. I remember when we first spoke and we started working early on, even before the season started, you had all this
Mhm.
excitement. But the first thing that I told you was like, hey, it's gonna be a long process. Like, trust me, it's gonna work out at the very end, but
Yeah.
it's not gonna happen right away. And I remember we talked a lot, right? Back and forth. I know you were putting up all these numbers and not seeing the results right away. But then,
Mhm.
like I told you, with time, everything came out once, and you ended up not only going to the D1 level, but you have a full ride. And that's something that is really, really special where you put yourself and your family in a good position to not have to be paying for school while you're playing baseball. So that right there
Sure.
is amazing.
Sure.
If you had to name, let's say, one thing that was holding you back from getting the offers you were looking for, before we got together, what would it be?
Exposure, 100%. Like when I started the process, when me and you first started the process, and you put my name out one time, I got schools that I didn't even know existed contact me, and I was like, oh my god, like what am I? What's going on right here? Like I didn't know what to think, what to do, and then when me and you got connected, it kind of just some clicked. Like all right, I gotta lock in. I gotta put myself out there. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. And then when Southern Indiana finally called me, I was like,
Yes, sir.
something's cooking right here.
Yes, sir. Indeed. So we got started. We talked about your goals. That's the first thing. And your goal was to play Division 1 baseball. It's not just about the goals, and it's then about putting together a game plan, right? So we talked about the goals. We put together a game plan. Talk about how important it was for you, to have a game plan and guidance rather than just trying to figure it out on your own.
Oh, for sure. Having the game plan was super clutch. I'll put it like that. It was super clutch to come in because I would put out on Twitter, "Hey, I'm a JUCO outfitter looking for a Division 1 program." That looks okay, but then you add the things like I'm a JUCO outfitter looking for a program, putting all my stats, putting my height, putting my weight, putting what I'm interested in, who I'm interested in, stuff like that. Giving D1s and D2s because like I'm not gonna hate on D2s. I got a lot of D2 offers and I was considering them. It was just my thing. I wanted to play D1 baseball. I told myself I wanted to play D1 baseball. So it was just the sheer fact of connecting with the right people because Southern Indiana followed me on Twitter in the fall. I didn't have a great fall, and it was really overwhelming to me. but I knew you had my back, and I knew you were going to keep posting for me. So I was like, all right, I just got to swing, and I'll figure it out. Eventually, I started doing really good. Since they followed me on Twitter in the fall, before I had that crappy fall, they still followed me. They didn't unfollow me. Then I had that really good spring that saved me.
Exactly. That
Yeah,
saved your butt, but that was because
mm,
you were putting yourself out there, right? If
for
you
sure.
were, ton of outfielders out there, right? There are a
Mhm,
dime a dozen. Had you had that bad fall and then posted one video on Twitter in the spring, and then they didn't really see you after that, there's no way you get that offer because you're not at the top of their mind. But by
for sure.
consistently putting yourself out there, and every time that they go on Twitter, they see, oh, this guy hit another home run and then another home run. Well, okay, I'm going to keep following him. And then the numbers speak for themselves. That turned you into an offer. So
Sure.
100% that consistency. And I'll give you kudos because you're a guy that I never had to babysit you when it came to reaching out to coaches, when it came to putting yourself out there. And that's the reason that you ended up getting so much scholarship money because you were consistent in your process. So
For sure.
a lot of players right now, watching this, they might wonder what it's actually like inside the program. How would you describe, the support, the communication, and your overall experience?
Well, when we first started, I remember I was kind of iffy about it. I was like, I've never done something like this before. Like, what if I'm just another client to him? Complete opposite of what I thought it was. Me and you had a friendship. Like, you wouldn't text me, "Hey, what are your offers?" You text me, "Hey, like, how am I feeling? Like, how's the swing?" You wouldn't just be like, "How's this? How's that?" You would ask me personal questions, and that's when I was like, "All right, he genuinely wants me to get something. Like, he's not trying to get me so I can be his tag on his front page. Like, he wants me to succeed as bad as I want to succeed." And that's
Yeah.
what I was like, all right, if he's locked in with me, I'm 100% giving it back to him. So
100%.
I think it's a friendship over a business. That's what I would say.
And yeah, that's what. So obviously, there's a ton of recruiting companies out there, and I'm not gonna sit here and mention any names, but the industry itself gets a bad rep because of some people and how they go about their business. For me, it's very easy to do things the right way because I'm not too far removed from being in your shoes, and I understood how it felt being at a JUCO, being overlooked, wanting to get to the D1 level, and trying everything you can, but feeling stuck. I know exactly how you're feeling, so it's not about me asking you, oh, did this school reach out? Did that school reach out? That's part of it. But I also want to know how your mind is feeling on a Thursday before you go play 3 games on a weekend. I need you
Yeah.
to have the right mindset because that's what's going to turn into results on the field. And then those results on the field are going to get you to where you got to. So that part of it, it is a friendship, but that goes into putting yourself in the best possible position. And that's what I'm here for as well. So, in your honest opinion, who would you say that this program is really for? And then what types of players is it not for?
I think it's for players that like want to take a drive in their own career, like don't want to leave it up to chance, like leave it up to their coaches. Like obviously we had 2 coaches at ICC and I wasn't going to make them go nuts asking for them to call this school and call this school. I was like, I'm going to take this in my hands. Like I got to, I don't have a choice. Like I want to go play Division I baseball. I'm not going to give them the burden of texting coaches every single day when I can do it myself and I can email these coaches, DM them on Twitter, even text some of them myself from having them previous numbers. And for people that it's not for, I don't know like what scenario you have to be in for it not to be for you. To be honest, like you just have to. If you don't do this, it's like you're the dude, and you're gonna have offers. You throw 96, like you know that you're going to get an offer,
For
and
sure.
it's that's
Yeah,
the only thing I can see is I'm not going to do this because I know I'm getting an offer. Like
for sure.
that's the only person I can see that's not willing to do this.
Yeah, well, I'll answer for you. I think that the person that it is for is the guy just like you that is willing to put in the work when it comes to reaching out to the coaches as well with all the resources that I'm giving you and you following my lead. If I say, hey, I spoke to this coach, he had great things to say about you, make sure you also send him a message. You doing that on your end is going to help you. This program
Sure.
is not for the guy that, hey, if I tell you I just spoke with that coach, I want you to reach out to him and then they're not going to do it. I rather not have you in the program because then you're not maximizing your
Oh
opportunities.
yeah, for sure.
And you're a guy that maximize your opportunities. That's why you don't have to pay for school next year, right? Had you been a
Mhm.
guy that you just let me do all the work, well, you would have still had results, but you wouldn't be maximizing your results. And that's what it's
Yeah.
all about. So
100%. Yeah, for sure.
let's say if one of your teammates asked if they should do this, what would you tell them?
Oh, 100%. 100%. I'd tell them to do it. Going into it, I was like, I don't know where I'm going to go. I just want to play baseball. So many doors open because of this. Like, so D2s from Missouri, Alabama, Georgia, Oklahoma. I got one from New Jersey that even texted me. Like,
Yeah.
places I've never even heard of that texted me. And I was like, this is crazy. I actually talked to one of my teammates when we were hitting in the cage, and he's like, why did you do it? I was like, I wanted to play D1 baseball. I wanted to get exposure to coaches that I know my coach doesn't know. And Southern Indiana's, they just got a whole new coaching staff. So I know my coach didn't know them. So it's just stuff like that where my coaches don't know them. I can put myself out there. I mean, obviously they saw me somehow. Twitter, emails, stuff like this. They found me because I put myself out there through your help. And it's just that's what I'd say was the biggest thing for me. And I would 100% recommend this to all of my teammates. I actually have a couple in the past.
Yes, sir. Let me ask you this. So, in your honest opinion, right, were you unsure at first about working with somebody online or paying for recruiting help? And what changed your mind?
For sure, I was nervous about it, 100%. When me and my dad were talking about it, I was like, do we really need to do this? And my dad's like, you just don't know the doors it can open. I mean, that's his exact words. He's like, you do not know the doors it can open. And I was like, all right, let's just do it. If you're willing and I'm willing, let's do it. So after some talking about it with my family, we decided to do it. And then it was just I was worried it was going to be a business. We talked about it, and then there was the friendship. After the friendship started to happen, a weight was lifted off my shoulders. I was like, this is something like that I think everyone should get behind for sure.
And the rest is history, to say the least.
Yes,
So,
sir. Yes, sir.
if somebody's watching this right now and they're still on the fence about working with me or working with elite recruits, what would you tell them?
Most of these guys that you're about to get are transfer portal guys that I would say, and that's just the biggest thing for me is with roster cuts happening, everything like that. I think you take a chance and you go, or you don't even take a chance. You text Omar, you get the deal, and Omar is going to put you out there. I mean, I haven't seen Omar fail once. I'll say that. In
Yeah.
my opinion, you're going to the best guy to get you recruited. Like you
Absolutely.
can't rely on your old college coaches because they obviously aren't going to care about you as much as the guys they're trying to bring in. So you need someone that's in your corner, that's going to put you out there, that's going to be on your side, no matter what your stats are, no matter what your measurables are. They're going to be on your side trying to get you out there. And that's the thing with Omar is he's not going to judge a book by its cover because I didn't have the best measurables and stats coming into the fall, and he's like, I'm gonna stay with him. I'm gonna stay in his corner. Spring came along, and I'm really good hitter, and rest is history after that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, is there anything else that you want to say to guys out there that might be in your shoes that you were in before struggling? Anything that you want to give them as far as advice or what you've learned from coming on the other side of it and getting to the D1 level?
For sure. I think when I joined Elite Recruits, like in the fall before I joined them, and I was worried about, all right, I have to get a hit right here so I can post it on Twitter so coaches will see me in the box. Thinking about that, that's the big thing for me is I'm a hitter that thinks if there's something in my head, I'm gonna think about it all day. Like that's why I have a girlfriend that doesn't bother me with baseball. She lets me do what I want to do. I have a family that doesn't have drama. I have friends my friends don't have any drama with them. If they have drama, they're out. I keep a clear head, and the whole thing was after I joined you and I knew I was gonna get an offer, clear head. That's the biggest thing for me is why I think I hit good this year. Is I wasn't thinking about anything else, but what can I do in this at bat to win the game instead of I need to do good for myself right here so I can get an offer. Like completely changed mindset from what it was in the fall to what it was in the spring, and I mean the numbers speak for themselves. My fall numbers were horrible. Spring numbers were really good in my opinion.
Absolutely. Absolutely. In my opinion as well. So for you, knowing that you had somebody in your corner and you had help allowed you to play better because you didn't have to worry about what was going to happen with the recruiting process. You were just out there competing, and that's
Yep.
what it should be all about.
It's like a kid's game again. It was like a kid's game again. That's all it was.
I love it. I love it. So if anybody out there watching wants to follow your journey or reach out for advice, where can guys find you on social media?
Oh yeah, for sure. My Instagram is Evan_McCarthy_7, and then my Twitter is big_Mac_27.
Big Mac. I love it, man. I
Yes, sir.
appreciate. Yes, sir. I appreciate sharing your story with us. I can't wait to continue following your journey at the D1 level next year and seeing you do your thing. And I'm here every single step of the way with anything that you need. So,
Yes, sir.
yeah,
Absolutely.
thank you again. If you guys are watching this and recruiting isn't going with the way you want it to go, reach out to me. We can hop on a call. If I think you're a good fit for my program, we can get to work and I can help you find your next school.